do you like to drink?
I'm a fiend for mojitos.
I know a place.
You know, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No.
It just tastes like lemon juice.
No. Hello, welcome to Cinema Blind Spots. I'm Chris.
I'm William.
And on today's episode, we're going to be checking out Michael Mann's masterpiece, Miami Vice.
Masterpiece is a strong word there.
Celebrated masterpiece?
You're going farther and farther away from the truth here.
So William's never seen this film. But I remember when I first watched it, I was just blown away by it. It was so confusing and bizarre. What did you think of this movie, William?
Oh, okay. Wow.
You loved it, right?
I did not. The opposite of that.
Why? What's not to love about it?
I mean, I love Michael Mann. Heat is one of my all-time favorite movies. Manhunter's really good too, Thief. And I enjoyed Collateral too, but this movie, it's an eyesore from frame one of a movie. The digital photography is so ugly in it. It flattens all the images.
Yeah, there's some serious digital noise on it. It seemed like they just didn't even care anymore.
Right.
Maybe he thought this was the same thing as, like, you know, heavy grain in a film. I believe they used the Viper film stream cameras, which are the same cameras that David Fincher was using on Zodiac, Curious Case of Benjamin Button. He filmed a lot of commercials with it as well when he was experimenting with it. And it's hard to see that as the same camera. And the only thing that makes sense to me is that they were just trying to push the capabilities to the limit of what this camera could do as far as capturing low light. Could we just go out on top of a rooftop, maybe just have one light and just see what we can get? What I like about it though is that you do get these really interesting things despite all the noise, but you're seeing these things that you would never see on film or even normal digital photography. One of the crazy things that you're able to see are the clouds that are lit up by the city lights up above, which is something that you would see with your eyes. And it was really kind of interesting to see that photographed. The movie cost $135 million supposedly.
I don't know where that went.
I think a lot of it went to like some of the stars. Colin Farrell is like one of the hottest actors at the time. Jamie Foxx, again, just won an Oscar.
I believe Gong Li was coming off of Memoirs of a Geisha. And you've even got some really great supporting cast members in there. You got like Eddie Marsan in there. You've got John Hawkes showing up.
John Hawkes, Justin Theroux, and Naomi Harris is in there. She's great.
Amazing. It's got a really good supporting cast.
I never grew up with the original show. Did you watch it?
It was in the periphery, yeah, but I never, I wasn't tuning in to watch it. My family wasn't tuning in to watch it. I just know the kind of it's like the epitome of 80s, you know, lots of neon, lots of clashing bright colors, the suit jackets, but pushed all the way up.
Ferraris, sunshine, Miami nightlife. Probably that's what Jamie Foxx wanted when he suggested to Michael Mann that he should redo Miami Vice. And that's not the movie that Michael Mann decided he wanted to make.
And see, and that's kind of one of my biggest problems with this movie is that I really appreciated that it took its source material seriously. That it wasn't like a Starsky and Hutch or a 21 Jump Street where it was like making fun of it. That being said, it was too damn serious. Like, it could have had some humor in it to lighten the mood. Some. It almost became a parody in that.
There's parts of it that I think are pretty funny.
Why do I get the feeling everybody knows we're here 15 blocks out?
Because everybody knows we're here 15 blocks out.
Maybe not intentional, but some of the dialogue.
You with DEA, the fiend? What's up? They talking in our transport line? You with the man?
It's just great, you know? It is a flawed movie, deeply flawed.
It is deeply flawed.
I feel like that's part of the reasons why I love it so much and why I'm so fascinated by it, and it's become one of the Michael Mann films that I rewatch the most.
Well, I mean, I get that, and see, you know, the problems with it does not kill your enjoyment at all. And I totally get that. Like, one of my favorite films is Truffaut's Shoot the Piano Player, which is a film that no one really cares about anymore. No one talks about. People talk about 400 Blows, they talk about Jules and Jim, they skip right over that. The films that aren't the most popular in that director's, you know, canon sometimes give you the most enjoyment. Sometimes I would rather watch a great filmmaker fail, but at least try something, than watch a mediocre director play it safe and do an okay movie.
See, yeah, I don't think he's failing or, I think he's experimenting. He decided that he kind of wanted to reinvent how he wanted to do things. Maybe he thought it was getting stale. And so I appreciate that. This movie was made in 2006. The idea of like not shooting on film, it's so funny now. It's
Right.
like everything's shot digitally now.
And I appreciate Michael Mann for pushing the boundaries of digital photography forward, even if his film looked like a dumpster fire on screen.
Assume the film was done completely the same way, but it looked like a traditional Michael Mann film, looked like the way Heat does. Is it just the look of it that took you out of it?
No, it wasn't just the look of it. It was everything. I mean, its plot is so convoluted. It's all over the place.
It's not incoherent. It's actually a very simple plot.
Kind of like The Big Lebowski. There's not much actually going on in The Big Lebowski. The plot works, but it's so convoluted, you actually think it doesn't make sense until you break it down. Maybe inside this bloated film is a good movie that simplifies its plot. Maybe if you took out the 5 to 10 minute long, at least that's how it felt to me, sex scenes that both Crockett and Tubbs get to have, respectively, not with each other, but they're long. And it's weird too that they're so long in the sex scene when there's no actual nudity shown, so it's just like the actors grinding on each other. And I can only imagine how long that took to film and how uncomfortable it should have been, because I was uncomfortable watching it. I was like, what is the point of this? Why is this going on so long?
It's called character development, Will. One of my favorite parts of the movie is when the whole movie just stops and we have to have this love story side plot go on between Colin Farrell's character and Gong Li's character.
Is that when Jamie Foxx decided to basically more or less quit the movie?
I think so. I think that must have been what happened. And Michael Mann was like, well, then I'm just gonna write you out of it.
Now, when I was watching this, I had to send you a text. You're one of the few people I know that really defend True Detective Season 2. Mm-hmm. I think there's a strong correlation between Sonny Crockett's look in this movie and the look that Colin Farrell decides to take in that.
You realize that telling people are lying for a living.
Do you want to respond to that? Maybe one, like...
Colin Farrell is the coolest.
Do we dance?
I dance.
That's all I'll say. He's so cool. He's so awesome in both things.
You dig that long hair and mustache combo.
Yeah.
Doing it for you.
He does it well.
I will say, watching True Detective Season 2, I watched it thinking, I want a mustache.
Yeah. Who wouldn't?
You like the mojito?
Mojito's great.
I'm actually digging the mojito now.
Yeah, once that alcohol kicks in, it starts tasting pretty good.
I think one of the coolest things about the movie after I first watched it that really hit me was just how large the scope of it was. The story is complete, but there's a larger story that still could be told. Like, you could make many more Miami Vice movies, and I would love to have many more Miami Vice movies. I want a whole Miami Vice cinematic universe to happen.
You know, honestly, I could actually be down with that. I think that Miami Vice could work with Colin Farrell, with Jamie Foxx, with all the same cast and everything. I kind of would actually be down for a Miami Vice movie directed by different people every single time. Like, have good directors come and like, okay, here's your template. Now what can you do with this? Like, where can you play in this sandbox?
Maybe only if William Friedkin could do it. Other than Michael Mann, I'm not really sure. I think part of it too is just his style, the way that he presents story and the editing flow. It's so Michael Mann.
This movie took so long and the plot was so meandering that when it ended and the credits came up, I was like, that's it? That's the ending? Like, Naomi Harris is still in a hospital and she kind of like...
It's setting up for the sequel.
If that's what it's doing...
Where's the sequel, Michael Mann? Get on it.
Please don't get on it.
I might make another one of these. So just to clarify, we watched the director's cut. The cool thing about the theatrical cut, which you don't know about, would be the movie opens directly into the nightclub scene.
Interesting.
So it just starts right there, and you are literally just thrown right into it. I think that's kind of a cool concept, but I do love the opening Go Fast Boat scene, which is a lot of fun.
That was a boat commercial. I wanted to buy a boat. I have no idea why. And then I realized that this is just a commercial with the credits.
Why wouldn't you want to buy a Go Fast Boat?
Their name is Go Fast Boat too. Who named this boat. Go fast boat. There was literally no other names.
It describes what it is and what it can do. Nobody does a gun shootout better than Michael Mann.
Well, that's true. And he really cranks the sound with those guns, too.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I kept switching between crank my audio up all the way to really get what they're saying, and then suddenly a gun battle breaks out, and suddenly I'm afraid of annoying my neighbors and having to jack it down.
It's not quite up there with Heat's gun battle, but it's definitely, you know, something amazing. He really wants you to feel like you're right in the middle of it.
That is where the digital photography works, because it allows him to get much more maneuverability in those kinds of scenes, like to really feel like the chaos of being in a gun battle.
I love this movie. I think it's one of Michael Mann's better films, also one of his most flawed films, but to me, it's just so fascinating, watchable, for me at least.
Not for me.
If you've heard about how awful it is, I would just say that it's not, and to check it out.
I'm glad you recommended this to me because I do like Michael Mann. I do admire him as a filmmaker, and it's one of those films that I had not seen. And so I'm glad I've seen it. I will never watch it again. But at least I can say I've seen it, and now when people talk about how bad it is, I understand.
I was really hoping you would like it. I feel like there's two types of people, those who get Miami Vice and those who don't. And I'm sorry that you can't join me.
There are people who are right and people who are wrong.
No, not at all. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll hope to see you next time.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mojito.